Summer had anime about big rocks, thick thighs, homo horror, an island for repopulating Japan, and the highly anticipated shonen gacha Kuchi? God damn, what are they feeding you in the middle of a desert? It had a plethora of new anime serving all sorts of kinks, but fall has its own share of the weird and wonderful like this.
Sit and wonder why y'all tripping. Hop, 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 then skirt, 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 then I drip, drip, drip with my Richard Miller plane.
Why are you gay?
Here I'm going to cover all the new anime airing now that are worth watching this season. Again, I will only focus on the new anime unless it's a sequel of an underrated anime. This is one of the highest rated series of the season, and rightly so. It actually slipped under my radar and probably many others because it's a Chinese anime, but it is available in a Japanese dub for those who prefer that. Broadly speaking, this falls under the regression genre, where the princess is reborn at an earlier point in time. It's a story about a father-daughter relationship that starts out cold, with the father showing little to no interest, but over time this changes. This is mainly thanks to Athanasia's sweetheart nature. She's the type to give her father a present for her own birthday. She's a busy girl because on top of forming a connection with her father, she's also awakening her magic and handling new friendships. Anime about parent-child relationships is a rather rare topic, with my favorite being Usagi Drop. Bearing that in mind, they've done a pretty good job here without making it awkward. Despite the anime being great so far, there are some issues with the adaptation. The original manhwa is an isekai. The protagonist was actually a human from a world similar to our own who was reborn in this magical world. This makes it a little hard to review because the diehard fans of the original are not going to be happy about this major plot change, along with a few more changes. But at the same time, the anime is actually really good. If you don't care about the plot changes and are looking for a feel-good anime that covers a different topic than most feel-good anime, then this is definitely a must-watch. If the summer Hikaru died gave us the yaoi of the year, then the Yuri gods just dropped their counterattack with this monster wants to eat me. I haven't read the manga, and so I only discovered this thanks to one of our viewers, and to the rest of you, keep the recommendations coming. This anime dives deep into the new wave of supernatural monster girl dramas. We have a mysterious creature protecting our poor protagonist from other monsters, while secretly wanting to devour them later. But what makes this stand out isn't just the premise, it's the atmosphere. Every scene oozes melancholy and quiet tension, like the calm before something terrible or beautiful happens. Our protagonist isn't your usual empty vessel either. You can feel the emotion through their smallest expressions, every glance, every pause, dealing with loneliness, death, and the weird comfort of being wanted, even if it's by something that might eat you. Despite being dark and eerie, there's heart here, and even a few funny, surprisingly warm moments. The relationship dynamics are complex, part protection, part obsession, part please don't eat me, but also don't leave me. It's tragic, twisted, and somehow wholesome. It makes you wonder, would you let this cute little mermaid eat you?
Yeah, boy.
But start with my meat. Speaking of meat, we next have Pass the Monster Meat, Milady. Believe it or not, it's PG-13. It's about a noble girl who loves eating monster meat. But turns out it's a huge cultural taboo because it's supposedly poisonous, but she knows the technique to extract that poison and make it edible. But it still remains a taboo, and she is considered a freak. However, there is always someone out there that can match your freak, and that's where the Duke enters. He loves killing monsters and happens to enjoy monster meat, and naturally, they bond over it. Nothing says romance like watching two people fall in love over their shared passion for monster mutilation. So, if you're into unconventional love stories or just want to see what happens when fine dining meets monster dissection, this might be your new favorite show. It's weirdly wholesome, surprisingly romantic, and just the right amount of what the hell am I watching energy to keep you hooked.
Yeah, boy.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Dusk Beyond the End of the World follows a protagonist that wakes up 200 years in the future only to be ambushed with a "marry me" from a blonde bombshell. Turns out she's an android copy of his girlfriend who happens to be his stepsister. So it's no surprise that instead of enjoying his time with the android, our hero embarks on a noble quest to find his sister. She might just be stuck somewhere waiting for her beloved brother. Which frankly wouldn't be that unbelievable. After all, she's the one who built the cryopod that saved his life when he was shot protecting her, and her research later became the cornerstone for OWL, the AI technocratic organization now maintaining what's left of the world. The story starts off strong, but it does fall off a little after episode 2. However, the animation is gorgeous, the fights easily beat one frame man. And if you're in the mood for a beautifully drawn dystopia featuring a hot android and questionable sibling dynamics, definitely check out Dusk Beyond the End of the World. Kamen Rider is an iconic Japanese superhero franchise that has been around for decades, but this new iteration with an older MC might be the first Kamen Rider that I may actually end up watching. This one just comes with a little more midlife crisis energy. This dude trained his body for years, fought a bear, and yet somehow still gets nervous around a few thugs. He essentially trained his entire life chasing that one dream, to become Kamen Rider, and at 40 he's just about ready to give up until life forces him to finally put on the mask and save the day. But here's the twist, the Kamen Rider thing isn't just fiction, it's real. Suddenly, he and a group of grown adults are cosplaying while getting dragged into actual battles against monsters. Their childhood dreams became their reality. It's got the perfect blend of funny and badass, and honestly, it's kind of inspiring. Moral of the story, don't give up on becoming a Super Saiyan. Your shonen arc has no age limit. Okay, now that was a satisfying first episode. This anime is basically what happens when a princess decides diplomacy is overrated and opts for hands instead. It's not political intrigue, it's political injury. Scarlet is a nobility that excels in everything, but has a peculiar hobby of clocking anyone who deserves it. But that got locked up thanks to her engagement with the second prince, and she had to put up with his abuse all these years. When the engagement came off, so did the restraints, and instead of scheming for revenge, she started serving it. The world building's generic, the romance is mid, but who cares when your protagonist's right hook has more character development than half the cast? If you've ever wanted to watch a show that's just karma with eyeliner, then this Lady of Beatings delivers that for you. She's elegant, she's violent, she's one-punch woman. I expected it to be somewhat trashy, and it is, but it does look rather pretty. The 90s art style is making a comeback, and I like that the MC is an assassin. The story starts off with the whole class isekai'd, and even though our MC didn't get the hero class, he has OP stats and a class that suits his personality, which is lurking around in the shadows. He has the dream skill of any modern day man, invisibility. Instead of using this peak ability to peek on his peers, he fancied someone a little more royal, but he wasn't quite ready to penetrate the king yet. He got cold feet, but that had consequences, which you will find out in episode 2. He is not pathetic or naive like the usual tropes either, but he does have a fetish for stroking large pussy cats. There is value given to life, unlike in many isekai where the MC just straight up starts slaughtering people left and right. When it comes to power levels, it appears to be an approach where it's not just brute force being used to conquer everything in his path, but only time will tell. By the second episode, we are finally introduced to his elf waifu, and overall, the pacing has been fast. After all, Emilia is already trying to use her large weapons to Medusa him, which honestly I don't mind since you should be quite familiar with isekai tropes by now anyway. If you are looking for your seasonal dose of isekai, then this might be one of them. This might just be the wildest card on the list, not because it is the only sequel on this list, but rather because who could have guessed that a project inspired by Uma Musume would gallop its way into becoming one of the most entertaining sports anime of the season. At first glance, it looks like My Little Pony got blasted by a Japanization beam, all sugar-coated colors, sparkles, and hyper-cute character designs. But beneath that candy gloss lies a surprisingly heartfelt story about perseverance, teamwork, and the true spirit of competition. In this world, legendary racehorses are reborn as cute, horse girls, each carrying the same burning drive to chase victory on the track. It's colorful, chaotic, and weirdly inspiring. Proof that even a herd of pastel horse girls can deliver more emotional sports drama than half the human protagonists this season. The animation is breathtaking. The races explode with motion, lighting, and energy that radiate more aura and intensity than Solo Leveling. Season 1 set the tone with a goofy, high-energy romp full of gags and hooking viewers with its light-hearted humor and infectious optimism. But it's in the second season where Uma Musume truly finds its stride. The story tightens its reins, shifting from laughs to genuine heartbreak, injuries, broken dreams, and the terrifying reality of losing the one thing you were born to do. Watching these characters stumble, fall, and somehow find the strength to stand again is both devastating and deeply uplifting. Some people say the third season was a downgrade in storytelling, but this season tells a different story. Just when I thought we ran out of decent villain isekai, a wild last boss appeared. Literally, it reminds me of the overlord situation of a gamer reincarnated in his favorite game. This isn't trying to reinvent isekai, it's just doing everything right. Great production, solid animation, clean action, and a world that actually looks fun to exist in. Our protagonist was once a guy who now wakes up as the female character he plays in-game. For simplicity's sake, the pronouns of this MC is going to be she for the rest of the video. What could have been a lazy gender-bender comedy actually becomes a cool angle. It has a unique take where she's slowly merging memories with her in-game persona, blurring the line between the player and the character. It's that perfect balance of power fantasy and subtle emotion. A story about identity, nostalgia, and how weird it would be to meet your old guildmates 200 years later. You'd think the gender switch would be the big talking point, especially with those huge personality stats, but no. She's too busy looking majestic while casually nuking kingdoms. If you like your villainous stories powerful, dramatic, and refreshingly non-horny, this one's for you. It's got mystery, beautiful world design, some decent emotional weight, and just enough I'm stronger than God energy to keep it fun. From the author of B-Stars and the studio that made Dan to Dan, we have the most bizarre Japanese take on Christmas. The MC of the show is at peak puberty levels, because red flags are love signals to him. He is actively being chased by someone with a knife, but that's a sign of affection in his eyes. Basically, he has the survival instincts of minced meat. It's the year 2080. Festivities are a taboo topic, and somehow everyone forgot Christmas in just a few decades. But there are a handful of people who still know the legends, and this girl is one of them who desperately needs Santa's help to find her lost friend. Turns out our boy is a descendant of Santa, and if she manages to drench him in red, the Santa seal curse will break and he will transform into Santa. And what better way to ask for someone's help than by stabbing them? And you know what? I can't argue with that logic because it worked. In fact, she got Steroid Claus instead, who could easily guest star in Baki. But despite all the madness, this anime somehow keeps a warm heart. The relationship between the main heroine Shiori and her lost friend Ono is genuinely touching, and the awkwardness of 14-year-old Sanda around girls will remind many of us of our own youth. If you enjoy anime with distinct art styles and a crazy story, this one's worth your time, and apparently the final episode of the season will air on the 25th of December in Japan, and it would be even more festive if you guys get me to 1,000 subs by Christmas. Yet another anime that reminds me of my high school days. Chitose is in the Ramune bottle offers a rare chance to experience how perfect high school life could look if you'd somehow been born with flawless hair, unshakable charisma, and a permanent romantic aura. Our protagonist spends his days navigating an endless sea of girls trying to flirt with him, asking deep philosophical questions like, would you sacrifice yourself for me if we were trapped in a sea full of sharks and piranhas? What happened to simple ones like,
if I was a worm, would you still love me?
But at some point, even the chosen ones need a challenge. So encouraged by his teacher, our golden boy decides to help his depressed, shut-in classmate, the type who spends lunch breaks complaining about 3D girls. What follows is a gem of a motivational speech powered by the greatest motivator of all, breasts. This anime shapes up to be an inversion of the classic rom-com underdog trope. Instead of a lonely loser dreaming of popularity, we followed a popular guy who's forced to understand people outside his perfect bubble. It's part teen comedy, part self-help seminar, sprinkled with just enough genuine empathy to make you feel things you didn't sign up for. If you're after something wholesome but not sugary, the kind of show that admits life's unfair yet still tells you to stand up, fix your hair, and maybe talk to someone, then this anime might surprise you. It's not about chasing love, it's about learning to deserve it. Or, as the MC would put it, sometimes the real high school glow-up is emotional maturity.
あのさ、矢野くんはどんな子がタイプ？吉田さんかな？
Yano-kun's Ordinary Days is a refreshing take on romance. In fact, it skips all the foreplay and dives right in with an MC that rizzed the lights out of his crush. Something that ordinary rom-coms take an entire season to do only took an ordinary day for Yano. But when God created Yano, he skipped all his luck and endurance stats in exchange for that maxed out confidence stat. Because he catches injuries on a daily basis, although it ended up working as the perfect wingman for his love life. Every episode opens with Yano collecting new bruises from life as if pain were his love language, and Kyoko, the class rep, who should have just ignored him, ends up as his designated medic. What begins as comedy quietly shifts into a study of how affection grows in the spaces between accidents. The tone never shouts, it smiles through bandages and silence, using humor as a cover for something gentler underneath. The pacing is just as fast as how a school relationship should be. Not that I would know. If you like romance that limps instead of runs, this one's worth the watch.
ごめん、矢野くん。ちょっと来て。上白後期は初恋の男の子です。
The author of My Love Story is back after a decade with another shoujo, A Star Brighter Than the Sun. It doesn't reinvent the genre, but it reminds you why these stories endure. It follows Iwata and her childhood friend Kamishiro as they drift between friendship and something harder to name. What begins as a light high school romance slowly turns into a story about timing and distance. She watches Kamishiro become someone admired by everyone else, unsure if her feelings belong to who he is now or who he used to be. It's not tragic, just quietly painful, that ache of watching someone shine a little too far away. The show isn't a subversion of shoujo tropes so much as a gentle return to them. There are confessions, misunderstandings, and hesitant gestures, but they're delivered with a softness that makes each small moment feel genuine. Its charm lies not in surprise, but in sincerity. If you're looking for something earnest and beautifully drawn, a reminder of how first loves often live longer in memory than in reality, A Star Brighter Than the Sun earns its glow.
囚人って毛で覆われてるんだ。腹筋割れてる。
Are you sick of romantic anime yet? Too bad, here comes another one. With You, Our Love Will Make It Through is the Japanese version of the Morning Glory Milking Farm.
That's right, the Morning Glory Milking Farm.
I have been reading Morning Glory Milking Farm since last night, and I'm obsessed.
Get your eyeballs on this, because it is so good.
Furries, this one's your mating call. In this version of Japan, there exists a society of beastmen apparently created by some sort of experiment in the past. It's unclear what that experiment was, but I'm guessing they just did the good old husbandry thing. But in any case, thanks to some new government initiative, a select exceptional beast folk were allowed to attend human high school. The story tells Mary, a shy high school girl who falls head over paws for one of the beast folk at her school. The show's pacing sprints out of the gate like a startled rabbit. Visually, it's gorgeous. The art's soft and inviting, like a blanket made of tail fluff. If you can stomach a few awkward growls and some clumsy paw holding, there's a gentle heart buried under all that fur. It's not a total dog, just a bit of a stray. Gnosia is a sci-fi psychological thriller anime about a crew of astronauts trapped on a ship where one of them isn't human. Fail to find the imposter and the ship self-destructs. It's basically Among Us, but with way more paranoia, philosophy, and emotional damage. It's a werewolf game in deep space, but with a catch. Every death resets the loop, and sanity's just another expendable resource. And just when you think you've figured it out, the game changes. The crew grows larger, the lies pile higher, and the number of Gnosias quietly increases. Trust collapses, logic fails, and the only certainty left is that someone isn't who they say they are. Visually, Gnosia is stunning, including the wild fashion choices by Hisoka's sister. The colors shouldn't work for something this bleak, but they do. Gnosia makes paranoia look gorgeous, and it's one anime you really shouldn't miss this season. If there's not much from this list that interested you, then here's a reminder of all the sequels airing now. We have One Frame Man Season 3, Digimon Beat Break about forcing Ayat pets to fight, to Your Eternity Season 3, which is about an immortal alien getting a taste of humanity. Kingdom Season 6 continues the historical story about China's warring states period. Gintama, the greatest comedy anime ever, and the best this season so far, My Hero Academia. If you have been trash talking MHA for the past few years, then it's time to take all that back because it absolutely smashed all expectations in just 2 episodes.